Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is the world famous Hit the Ropes radio show. This is episode number 312. 312 of the Hit the Ropes radio show. Demetra Stokes, Darius Brown here with you on a wonderful Wednesday evening. First time in a minute for me, but I'm glad to be back rolling with the crew. Darius, what's good, man? How you feeling?
Oh, it's a day closer to Christmas where we have great food, good friends, so great time by all.
Yes, indeed. They say it's the most wonderful time of the year. I would agree with you, man. I'm a big fan of the holiday season and pre-happy holidays to all of you guys tuned in and listening to us here tonight. We're so glad that you could join us for tonight's episode. We got a lot on tap. Of course, we're going to talk about TLC, WWE Smackdown Live, just put on pay-per-view this past Sunday, TLC. And many believe, Dares, that it was one of the better pay-per-view offerings from WWE this year. So we're going to get into that. Of course, we're going to give you some takeaways from the week that has been in the world of wrestling. And, of course, we'll talk about some things in the news. But before we get started, let's go ahead and blast out that social media. And we are live on YouTube Live. So for those that want to join us live, feel free to do so. But we are indeed live right now. But Darius, how can people get in touch with us on the social media?
Oh, we're on every single platform there is, starting with Facebook. Make sure you follow us there. That's where you'll catch all the articles, news, and events. At Hit the Ropes as well, at Hit the Ropes on Twitter, and we're on Instagram. And, of course, you're probably watching us live here on YouTube. So we're everywhere you are.
Absolutely. And be sure to keep up with, of course, hittheropesradio.com, the website as well. I don't know if you said that. I was kind of zoned out. Maybe you did say that, but be sure to keep up with us. Hittheropesradio.com. We got wrestling articles. We got news. We have it all there on hittheropesradio.com. We got some great articles written by some great writers like Darius Brown, Shane Howard. One day I'll write an article. I think I've only written like one or two, but I'll get back in the groove here soon enough. But let's start in the news, Darius, and I'm going to get right to it because there is some big news as it pertains to the world of professional wrestling and the new president-elect, Donald Trump, who will be taking office in a little over a month. He has appointed someone with wrestling ties to a very important position in his administration. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Donald Trump has appointed Linda McMahon. Of course, she is former CEO of the WWE and the wife of current CEO or current founder, owner of WWE, Vince McMahon. She has been appointed the head of the Small Business Association. They just released this news today. Kind of a shocker, man. People have been, I've looked at on social media, people have been joking about it, as it pertains to wrestling being fake and Linda McMahon being appointed this position. I've seen people show her being getting the Stone Cold Stunner by Steve Austin. So people have really been enjoying this and making fun of it a little bit. But just looking at some of the tweets that have come from the McMahons, Linda McMahon herself tweeted, "I am honored to be appointed by President-elect Donald Trump to serve as head of the Small Business Association, advocating for our small businesses and entrepreneurs." Stephanie McMahon, of course, says, "Congratulations, Mom, I am so proud of you. President-elect Donald Trump has made an excellent choice for the head of the SBA." And of course, Vince McMahon says, "Congrats, Linda, on your nomination. I'm very proud of you and know that you'll do an excellent job." Darius, Linda McMahon running the SBA. What do you think?
I'm not really big into politics, so I had to do some research real quick when I heard about this. I heard that she was now into the cabinet, or it holds like a cabinet like position there, but I didn't really know what it was. So doing a little research, it's a job, a position that most folks are taking for 1, maybe 2 years, and it came into prominence with President Obama. He really put an emphasis on getting small businesses up and running, allowing them to get loans, things of that nature. So it's very interesting. I know the big deal is, hey, she helped her husband take it from a very small regional promotion up into a billion-dollar company. So she has experience. But Stokes, it doesn't hurt when you have $6 million to contribute to the president-elect's campaign, which is exactly what Linda McMahon has apparently done. So it's not just that Donald Trump has been on WrestleMania. His Trump Towers have hosted WrestleMania, but she put up that money to get in this position. $6 million for a position, mind you, that pays anywhere from what I see ranging from $150,000 to $200,000 a year. So I hope that's a good return on her investment. $6 million for $200,000.
Yeah, 200 grand is chump change in the mind of the McMahons, I'm sure. But look, man, and we're not going to get political and get into the politics here, but you got to think, if she's invested $6 million into someone's campaign, she is going to be rewarded. There were some promises made, some side deals made to say, hey, for your contribution, if I win, I'm going to give you a position in my cabinet. And this is what happened. Linda McMahon is in this position now. I've heard rumors, or there were rumors, that she was actually going to be like the Secretary of Commerce or something like that. So that didn't come to fruition, but here she is now running the Small Business Association. I don't know though, man. WWE is not particularly a small business. It is a huge business, but I guess it started small, I guess is the point, and it has grown into the conglomerate that it is today. But you know what? Hey, hats off to Linda McMahon. No shade here. Not going to throw any hate. Congratulations to Linda. We'll see if it benefits the small business owner. We'll see. We'll see what happens as we go forward here. All right, so Linda McMahon running the SBA. Here's one, Darius. Here's another in the news topic here, and this is one that I'm surprising you with, because we weren't going to talk about this one, but it's hot off the presses.
Uh-oh.
And so I'm gonna share this with you. It may be common knowledge. Maybe it's not hot off the presses, and I'm just late to the party. But it looks like the Wyatt family, that would be Bray Wyatt, that would be Luke Harper and Randy Orton, will utilize the Freebird rule now that they are the Smackdown Tag Team Champions. As we know, what basically, I'm sure everybody who knows wrestling knows what the Freebird rule is. Any combination of the three guys can compete in the ring. Now, what's interesting about this is that the current Raw Tag Team Champions, the New Day, also invoke the Freebird rule. They also utilize it, as they're, defending their titles and are on the brink of breaking Demolition's tag team title reign. So my question to you, Darius, is we have the tag team champions on both brands using the Freebird rule. Is that overkill?
It is. It's way overkill. I think they're hurt a little bit by, I believe ROH has just introduced a 6-man tag team title.
Wow.
If I'm not mistaken, which it seems like they would have taken that and made that for the New Day over on Raw, and found a way to then branch that out to a 6-man, and then maybe get the tag titles to someone else.
Darius, are you still there? It looks like we may have lost Darius there, but we're having some technical difficulties. Darius, if you're there, jump back on. I'm not hearing you right now if you're talking, but this is episode number 312 of the Hit the Ropes radio show. We apologize for the technical difficulties. We were just discussing the fact that the Wyatt family, the team of Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton, and now Luke Harper, will be invoking the Freebird rule, a la the New Day, the Raw Tag Team Champions. And the question that came from this was, is this overkill? Is it overkill to have two tag teams invoking the same rule? Shane is in the chat room. What's up, Shane? He says Darius was kidnapped like Samoa Joe. So yeah, but Darius will be back soon. Maybe somebody snatched him away, as Shane said. I'm not sure. But I'll go ahead and give my 2 cents on the rule, on the thing with the Wyatt family and whether or not this is all overkill with the Freebird rule, already having the New Day utilizing the rule. And I agree with Darius to a certain extent. I do think that 2 tag team champions both invoking the same rule is a bit overkill. But I think what we have to maybe read the writing on the wall that maybe the New Day's title reign is coming to an end. There's been a lot of speculation that they're going to allow them to break Demolition's record, and then after that, they're going to drop the belts. So we could maybe be seeing a prelude to that. We may be seeing circumstances where the New Day will not be champions for long. But with that being said, right now, both teams invoking the rule, it's not a big deal. I'm sure people aren't going to lose any sleep or go crazy over it, but it is a little bit of overkill. I do like the team of Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton. I think they can be, and now you incorporate Luke Harper, they can be a very dominant tag team on SmackDown in a division that's just kind of so-so. I mean, you got Heath Slater and Rhino. They look like they're getting ready to break up. There was a little tension that they had on Talking Smack after SmackDown Live. So they may be breaking up. You got the Usos, who've been around forever. They seemingly are out of the title picture. And then you got American Alpha. You got a team that is extremely talented. American Alpha, very, very talented, but seemingly the WWE is kind of wasting their run right now. We'll see if things pick up with them, but they would potentially be a great challenger for the Wyatt family if and when they get in the title picture. And he's back, ladies and gentlemen. Darius Brown is back.
Holy cow!
I am like, what happened? Shade said you got kidnapped like Samoa Joe. I didn't see anybody put like a black sackcloth over your head or anything like that when you got snatched up. All I just saw was that you were frozen, and I'm not talking about the movie. You were totally frozen. But I don't know if you heard me as I was talking about the story in regards to the Wyatt family and them utilizing the Freebird rule. I was saying if we read the writing on the wall, this could be an indicator that the New Day is getting ready to drop the titles. What do you think about that? Because I don't think the WWE long term is going to go with 2 teams utilizing the Freebird rule. And there's been some talk that maybe the New Day will be dropping the titles soon after they break Demolition's record.
That may be the case. And what really happened was, as you sitting in the dark like Bray Wyatt, I think you summoned some of your powers to cut me off because I was about to say something negative about Bray Wyatt and his crew. So that's really what happened. But
it might have been Bray, man. It wasn't me. You know, I who knows though? I may be a 4th member of the Wyatt family, man. We don't know. But
you got the beard going. You're in the dark for some reason.
Bad lighting, man. I can't help it.
That says everything I need to know about you right there. But yeah. I think how many times do we see this? Nikki had her longest reigning Divas Championship run, and then the very next day she dropped the title to Charlotte. So they're trying to break these records, make something historic happen. Yet at the same time, they feel the pain of having that one champion for so long. So as soon as they go ahead and get that record, it's in the books and everything like that. Let's go ahead and now move on. So you might be right. Or to quickly wrap up, they may be taking this to a 3-on-3 match at WrestleMania. That'd be a long run for both storylines, I think, but it's possible.
All right. We'll see how it all shakes out, man. There's a lot of in the news segments here, man. I'm telling you.
Let's go, bring it.
So we got so I don't know if you guys talked about it in the lead up to or last week's show. I don't even know if it happened last week. Did you guys talk about Nakamura getting the title back?
We might have on the Watching Wrestling with Friends episode on Sunday. We might have touched on just a little bit, but we could definitely get into it.
Okay, well, it looks like there is going to be breaking news. It literally just announced 20 minutes ago. Nakamura, Samoa Joe in a steel cage match for the NXT title. It's going to be in Melbourne, Australia. No indication if this is going to be. I'm assuming they're going to broadcast this. I'm guessing that this will be on the next episode of NXT. I'm just trying to read here up on it. Yeah, so NXT's confirmed Samoa Joe. Yeah, it's next Friday, so maybe it is not going to be broadcast. But what are your thoughts overall on the Nakamura Samoa Joe feud? Obviously people have loved it. People love Nakamura. I just don't listen. I'm not. Look, I know I'm about to swim in uncharted waters here, and I know I'm about to get some hate. I don't dislike Nakamura. I'm just not as people love the guy. Maybe it's just because I don't know about the historical. I don't know a lot of his history, I guess, prior to him coming to
you about
NXT.
To get the gunshots, Stokes.
I know, and they gonna shoot me down. I guess, but I'm just saying I'm not saying I don't like him. I think he's cool and everything, and he's very eccentric, very strange, weird. His character, he's different for sure. So I'm not knocking him. I'm just saying I like Samoa Joe better, man. And I hope that he probably won't retain. I think they did the whole title change so that Nakamura could win it back, in the Orient where they were. Yep. So I think that was probably a smart move. But just overall, do you think with end of the year, it might be ropey time here, hit the ropes, who knows? But do you think Nakamura and Samoa Joe, would that be a candidate for you for feud of the year?
Ooh, feud of the year. Up to this point, I'm trying to see what else is even in that. We've got Charlotte, Sasha would be a contender, I would say, for feud of the year. Styles and Dean, Kevin and Seth. Yeah,
Styles and Dean Ambrose, really?
I'm pulling at straws here, maybe. Pulling at straws.
I was gonna say, AJ and Cena was probably a better feud than.
See how short-term memory we are? That's the problem.
Than AJ and Dean Ambrose, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, for sure. That's a good point. But back to Samoa Joe and Nakamura. I didn't follow him in Japan either. I could catch, by the wave of social media, how important he was, how big of a deal he was. He's definitely weird. But what actually sold me on Nakamura was his bout with Sami Zayn last year. Was it? I think it was last year or this year. I don't even know when it was. But at TakeOver, I believe Brooklyn, I'm going to throw out. That bout was amazing.
Yeah.
That really sold it for me. I love his music. His entrance is amazing. So they did a great job with that for him.
It's not. Wait. It's amazing, but it's not glorious. It is not glorious.
Oh, I don't know. I don't No, it may be more than glorious. When they had the homeboy, I forget his name, so I apologize. Who's like the first person signed to Michael Jordan?
You talking about the brother playing the violin?
Yeah, that right there.
That's why you don't see too many brothers playing violin. So I was like, oh, come on, he was jamming. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
That was dope. It was dope.
Good. Yeah, so, it was.
But in ring, he's good. He's a little, it's a little too much for me at times. Overall, I think he's good. Overall, if I had to say whose career they could do more with, I would still probably lean to Joe. But it's a great feud. Whether it's shot on Friday, this upcoming cage match, that spoils it a little bit because the title change happened in a non-televised event, and then it was just now televised today. So we'll probably get that same feel Friday, maybe get it the following Wednesday. So that's a little disappointing because we'll have to wait and to be able to actually see it. But the question was, everybody thought that Joe would be breaking off maybe as early as TLC. Obviously, that didn't happen. Maybe he'll be a surprise entrant in the Rumble. But this should be, if it's not the top feud of the year, it's got to be top 3.
Yeah, it's definitely up there. It's been a great feud. Like I said, I'm not throwing any shade at Nakamura. I think he's great. The entrance is dope. Our own Courtney McIntosh actually has his theme music as his ringtone.
I did too.
So I know the music is very popular, but as I stated, it is not glorious. He's not coming out with like choir singing and all of that stuff. Now that's what I'm talking about. All right, so what do you think about this? We got reports coming out from Pro Wrestling Insider, Pro Wrestling Sheet, that Mickie James is close to signing a permanent deal or a long-term deal to return to WWE. No word on if it's going to be NXT, Raw, or SmackDown. Personally, she could probably spice up SmackDown a little bit. But Mickie James, you good with her re-signing with the company? And if so, where would you put her?
Definitely good on her re-signing with the company. Where to put her is such a hard spot because to me, all 3 brands need her. NXT has nobody. That's why we're bringing in Mickie James. That's why we saw Nia Jax make a return. They have absolutely nobody. But, maybe you can get 1, maybe 2 more matches with her and the champ. And then what? She can't stay there for long. She can help elevate some of those younger talents. So it would be hard for me to keep her there, though, because Raw is also – how many times are we going to see Sasha and Charlotte?
Yeah, it's got to end, man. It's got to end at some point.
So we just got a new champion crowned on SmackDown, Alexa Bliss. There's a new article on Hit the Ropes Radio that you can that we wrote talking about that. So there's a fresh face. There's something new on SmackDown. So I'm okay with them. They're not deep, but I'm okay because we have something new going on there. Put her over on Raw. Let's break that whole Horseman thing up with Bayley, Charlotte, and Sasha Banks and get something fresh going.
Well, they still got Bayley, who has not had her opportunity yet. So,
but really, do we have to pass it between the 3 of them?
Right, I get you. I'm with you on that. Like, it can't just be a heavy rotation of Bayley, Sasha, Charlotte. But they do have some more ladies that they could probably, incorporate in there, right? They have Nia Jax. They have. Boy, look, I'm running out of people already.
You're done right there. You're done right there. You're not giving it to Alicia Fox.
Right. You're probably not giving it to Alicia Fox. But they do have, you could bring. Oh God, I can't think of anybody. I guess I'm lying.
Every brand is thin. Every brand is thin. That's why they're. I don't know if it's confirmed.
What about Dana Brooke? You got Dana Brooke.
She looks like a zombie.
Come on, bro. You got Dana Brooke. You got Dana Brooke. You got
She's not title contender.
Why am I
There's
wrong?
rumored to be a I don't know if it's rumored confirmed or what, but there should be, if there isn't, a 16-woman tournament. They need
Right.
some fresh women, so we
Yeah.
need that to happen immediately.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Yeah, that's supposed to rumors spreading that's supposed to happen at the top of the year. So that would be great. But you know what WWE will probably do? They'll probably just have Sasha Banks or Charlotte win it, and then everybody will be pissed off.
Yeah.
So it is like, geez, but it's worked for the Cruiserweight division, right? A lot of those guys that competed in the Cruiserweight Classic now have contracts, now are involved, in WWE full time. That being said, there is a new Cruiserweight champion. I don't know if you guys discussed that last week, but we have the Dancing Man. I can't remember. Rich Swann.
Rich Homie Swann.
Rich Homie Swann. Yeah, as the champ. So so it worked for Cruiserweight Classic. Maybe with the ladies tournament, we'll get some new faces, as you said. And you know what, in NXT, maybe they're just waiting on what's the old girl's name? Ember Moon to develop. I think she's somebody who could potentially get in there in the title picture with Asuka. I'm wondering when they're going to do the full heel turn with her. Like, when are they going to completely turn her heel? Because she kind of teases it a little bit, like she won't shake anybody's hand after a match. She kind of walks out, does all of that. But she hasn't made the full turn yet. So I'm wondering if they're just kind of waiting on that baby face that they can kind of build up to be her chief competition.
Yeah. We talk about back to Swann. Shane likes Swann, and Johnny Mason Jr. in the chat can't stand the intro.
Yes, you can't handle this. Come on, man. Listen. And Johnny said in the chat room, plays to all the black wrestler stereotypes. My wife, who bashes me for watching wrestling, by the way, which whatever. She's a bit of a hater, but that's okay. I love her. But she always comments on why do, and I don't want to get into this for a long period of time, but she's always like, why do the black wrestlers always why do they have to dance or why do they have to talk slang? But I said, it's not like that anymore because, the New Day, well, I mean, not fully, because you got the New Day, right? The New Day, now they do make their like hip hop, say hip hop terms that they kind of go over the fans' heads sometimes, but I get it. And they do but they play video games.
Mm-hmm.
Austin is kind of I'll call him Austin, but Lord, why am I
Xavier Woods?
Xavier Woods. I'm about to call him Austin Creed. Xavier Woods is he's a video game guy, kind of nerd, so to speak. Big E is he's like the biggest, buffest nerd I've ever seen probably in my life. He's uber nerdy too. So you don't always it's not like Crime Time, right? You don't got like yo. It's we don't it's not that bad anymore. But as Johnny said in the chat room he called Rich Homie Swann Coco Beware Jr. And I agree with Hot Dog. I like Cedric Alexander a lot. I like him a little better than Rich Swann. Now, that kick Rich Swann did on TJ Perkins off the top rope on Raw Monday night was vicious, though.
Yeah, for sure. And Cedric he's still young in the game. I hope they don't murder him with this Alicia Fox gimmick thing. She's a kiss of death, man. She gotta go.
She's like the Kim Kardashian of the WWE, right?
For what? He don't need her. He just need a good storyline between him and another wrestler. Don't throw her in. So,
right.
We'll see.
We'll see what happens. All right, but thank you guys so much in the chat room. Good conversation going on there. Thank you guys for listening live. This is episode number 312 of the Hit the Ropes radio show. It's Demetrius and Darius here with you tonight. let's get into a little TLC fallout. You know, we WWE Smackdown Live had the TLC pay-per-view this past Sunday night. Darius, what were your thoughts on the pay-per-view? You know, what matches stuck out to you? What individually stuck out to you? What were some things that you liked, that you didn't like? Just give us a little recap of what you thought about the event.
Well, Shane and I were along with John, and I'm trying to think if anybody else jumped on. Denham was on there. My brother Devin was on there. So we had a good core group on that. So anytime we have a pay-per-view, make sure you join in. If you want to actually jump on the show, as long as we don't have too many folks, you can definitely do so and chat it up. But we were talking about Shane specifically was speaking to the speed of the pay-per-view, where some of the double-branded Raw and SmackDown-branded pay-per-views seem to just drag on and on. And this one seemed to go a little bit faster. But the main thing I needed to happen, I needed two things to happen, Stokes. Just two things, and I would have this an A+ pay-per-view. I don't care what you call what you have to say about the matches. The first thing,
I know where you're going with this too. I know where you're going. I know where you're going. Go ahead.
The first thing I got to say is thank goodness that Heath Slater and Rhino dropped those tag belts. That's thing number one.
I didn't think you were going there. Okay. Go ahead.
I don't care for that potpourri tag team. You just smashed them together and threw them in the ring, and for what? For what? So they had to go. The Wyatts, I'm so huge on Bray Wyatt. This is his first ever title. Can you believe that? Out of all these years, I got to double check that. That's got to be wrong. But first ever title, first ever championship. Come on, man. So I'm glad that he finally won, got himself a title. Whether it's his first or not, he deserves gold around his waist. The second thing that made it was, come on now. This is what Alexa you were probably
Bliss, right?
Alexa Bliss. Finally. Come on now. Becky Lynch, really? She wasn't doing it for anybody as a women's champion. Come on. She's been living off of her 4 Horsemen glory days from NXT.
4 Horsewoman.
4 Horsewoman. Excuse me. Let's get political.
4 Horsewomen. Yeah, there we go.
They're going to steal the name and then blame me for getting it wrong. But that's all right. Do what it does. So, yes, Alexa Bliss, this is what we've I had to make the comment on the pay-per-view, Stokes. When I was speaking with Shane, her evolution from manager to singles competitor is on another level. She's not Charlotte status. She's not Sasha Banks status.
Oh no, she's not. Not even close, buddy. Okay. Not even close.
But listen.
Not even Bayley status.
Not even Bayley status, but that's all right because she is on that path. Now, I said this about Kelly.
Oh, God. And we saw how right you were about that.
Listen, and she could have been. But
now she's on Wags or whatever his name is.
Her heart wasn't in it, Stokes. But come on, her transition follows much like her idols, Trish Stratus, when she was managing TNA, broke off, and within a year she was champion. Alexa Bliss. Now, she spent some time in NXT, but when she became a singles competitor, within a year, she's champ, and she's taken off, baby. So, props to that. Wow. So, that's why I give it an A+.
Okay, all right. Well, there were things that had to happen for me as well, and a couple of them did happen. A couple of them didn't. One, I was hoping Becky Lynch retained. I'm not as high on Alexa Bliss as you are. She's not terrible, but she's not like the greatest thing since sliced bread either. I was hoping that Randy Orton and Bray won the titles, although I like Heath Slater and Rhino. I think the tag team has done wonders for Heath Slater's career. I think it's definitely put him back on the map and kind of given him a resurrection of sorts being in the tag team. So I'm glad to see that the Wyatts won the belts. I think now we're going to see maybe the breakup of Heath Slater and Rhino, and they go there, into their singles thing. I think the plan probably was to break them up because they were hoping Rhino won his political election, but he lost. So they're like, I guess we got to hang on to him for a little while longer now. But so we had that happen, and then I was hoping that AJ Styles retained, and indeed AJ Styles did. Listen, I'm going to say this right now. In my opinion, there is no better performer in professional wrestling today than AJ Styles. He is the best, in my opinion. He is number one. His mic skills compared to when he was in TNA are, I'm not saying he's like The Rock on the mic right now, but he is much more tolerable than he was when he was in TNA. And I know in TNA, it was more about the wrestling skill than the mic work. But he's putting it all together in WWE, and I just think the combination of both, to me, makes him the best in not just WWE, but maybe in wrestling today. And I can't, I don't watch everything, but he's very good. So seeing him retain and then seeing how he retained, James Ellsworth, the chinless wonder, the turtle without a shell, as JBL calls him, cost Dean Ambrose the belt. Were you expecting a heel turn? Were you shocked by that? Once he came down, I kind of was like, okay, I kind of see what's about to happen. But were you surprised that they went that route?
Not surprised. I didn't expect it. I wasn't really paying too much attention to Ellsworth because I actually don't care for him in that world, clouting up that world title picture, man. I think we need AJ is a strong champion, and he deserves a little bit better than the comedy skit that they're doing right now. So,
come on, Darius.
Nah, man. I'm just Ellsworth. Okay, it was cute the first week, kind of cute the second week, but the third week, I'm like, all right, yeah, I get it. He has no chin, he has two hands, yada yada yada. So he's okay. You want to have him feud with Dean? Push that down to the mid-card status where it belongs, and we can have that. We can have that segment all day long. So I'm just happy. Hopefully, this is going to. They're still teasing a title match with Ellsworth. So I guess we're not over with it yet. But the sooner the better. And I don't care if he's heel or baby, but you got to do something with him because he just got signed to a full-time roster deal, so he couldn't be doing the same thing forever. They got to put some twist on it.
And that's not a storyline thing. That's legit. He's actually a full-time member of the roster.
Apparently, yep.
Good for him. He is he got that HTR rub, baby.
That HTR rub.
Anytime a past guest or a guest comes on Hit the Ropes Radio, they go on to humongous things, to big things. Do we have to run down the people that have been on this show who are now big time players in the world of wrestling, or at one time was a big time player? We won't do it tonight. We won't name drop. We won't name drop. But yeah, seeing AJ retain was cool. I actually like Ellsworth's little incorporation in all of this. Obviously, we know he has no chance to beat AJ Styles one-on-one. But it's just funny to see that, because I like the way they're playing it. They're playing it like, hey, he actually thinks that it was because of him that he beat AJ Styles 3 times, when, of course, it was Ambrose who was helping him and assisting him. And so then I think what we're going to see is he's going to lose, and when the reality sets in that, he can't do it alone, he's going to like snap and become like this little crazy dude. That's what I'm hoping for. So TLC overall, good pay-per-view. There was some talk on Twitter about it being the best pay-per-view of the year. I don't know about that, but it was good. It was, it was pretty good. Smackdown, seemingly with their pay-per-view offerings, are consistent. They seemingly, give you a solid show. Man, that Was it a 450 that AJ Styles did through the table?
I don't know, but it was certainly vicious.
man, I thought the dude was. I was like, man, please don't let him like knock himself out doing that. I mean that was
I thought he was just going to do a splash. I was like, okay. And then he bust that out. I was like, God dang, because there was so much room for error where he could
that's what I'm saying. Exactly. And then he kind of came on his head like a little awkwardly. I think Ambrose was trying to like brace himself and then try to like not catch him, but try to, help him break the fall. And it almost went haywire, but it was a heck of a move. Yeah, heck of a move. Hot Dog in the chat room says James Ellsworth has had more WWE title opportunities than Neville or Cesaro since the draft. Is that right? Wow, man, I don't understand why Cesaro does not get pushed. I know Vince McMahon went on Austin's show and said he didn't grab the brass ring and all of that stuff, man. Cesaro is uber talented, man. Cesaro should be a main event player. I just don't understand why he is not.
Yeah, and I'm going to lie and say Neville's only had like 2 pay-per-view appearances, something like that, since he's been called up, or maybe it's only 2 wins on pay-per-views. But something really, really horrible in the year and a half, 2 years since he's been called up. So
yeah, he just can't get it going. I don't know why he kind of reminds me a little bit of Evan Bourne in the sense that he's had some health issues and he's a high flyer and he's talented, but he just can't quite get over the hump. But we'll see, man. We'll see. He still has some time.
Well, the thing is, he's under 205 pounds. Is it not? I know you want to give shine to the new guys, but come on, it's common sense. Let's do something with this guy. Elevate the whole division. Put him in the cruiserweight division. Yeah. That may be hard because it looks like Austin Aries is about to jump up in there, but you got to do something.
Why not both of them? I think one of the things that the cruiserweights lack is guys with personality and some character. Not that Neville will bring much of that to the table, but I was glad to see that they are incorporating Austin Aries into the mix because Austin Aries is the man. So it'll be good to see him incorporated in there and see what he can do. But yeah, throw Neville in the mix, man. Try to make that cruiserweight division as strong as it can be. I mean, there has not been a cruiserweight division like the cruiserweight division in WCW. That cruiserweight division back when Nitro and during the Monday Night Wars, that was great. I think the X division came really close back when TNA was making some waves. But man, when you had guys like Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero and Dean Malenko and Psychosis, and I mean they had some guys back in the WCW's cruiserweight division was sick. Jericho was a cruiserweight champ, if I'm not mistaken. So, then it got crazy because I think at one time, I was gonna say I thought like Scott Hall won the cruiserweight title or something stupid.
I don't know about that one.
But I don't think that was the case. Wasn't there a time where like the NWO? Oh, maybe it was Six, aka X-Pac. There was like a time where the NWO had like all of the WCW major belts. So they had, I think Hogan had the world title. Then you had the Outsiders or like the tag champs. I think Nash at one time was like, or Hall at one time was like TV champ though. He had like the TV title.
He did. I think he ended up throwing it in the trash or something.
Yeah, and then you had like Six who had the cruiserweight belt. So I digress. But yeah, any other thoughts on TLC?
No, just other than it did everything that they needed for it to do, progressing storylines wise. There hasn't been a pay-per-view, while it might have been the greatest, like in ring from bell to bell, storyline wise, it did a great job of progressing all the major storylines, and that's really all you can ask for.
Yeah, and they really don't have really they don't have to build. Well, they do have to build and develop storylines, but Royal Rumble is one of those pay-per-views where the focus is on the Royal Rumble match, right? So that's the big focus. So they'll have a couple matches in between, I'm sure, but they don't necessarily have to have these like rock solid concrete feuds in order to go into Royal Rumble. They may have a couple because they probably they might have a world title match, or one of the mid card titles might be up for grabs. But with Royal Rumble, when you got 30 guys who are going to be thrown into a match, you don't have to have 5 or 6 storylines to go into the Royal Rumble with. Now Raw has one more pay-per-view. They have Roadblock End of the Line. Why they duplicated the name of a pay-per-view they've already used this year and then just added End of the Line to it is beyond me. Could they have come up with something else? But interesting. They are going to seemingly end the Sasha Banks Charlotte feud with an Iron Woman match. Now, I like the concept. I love it, right? I wish they would have saved it for a bigger pay-per-view, right? I mean, I know they want to put a cap on this feud and maybe move on, but like an Iron Woman match between Charlotte and Sasha Banks at WrestleMania would be massive.
Yeah, they could have left this be for 3 months. Don't have the blow off match now. There's really there's so many different ways they could have got away from it, left us hanging for a bit. Hey, what happened to that match? And teased it throughout the next 3 months to get that Iron Woman match. Now, the only thing is with an Iron Woman match at WrestleMania, you know how they try to fit 52 matches in, even though the pay-per-view is 20 hours long.
I'm about to say, they can do an Iron Woman match at Mania. The show is like 16 hours.
They could, but because they have to put everybody on the card, unfortunately, I don't know we'll ever get that Iron Man match or Iron Woman match at WrestleMania. So, where else are you going to do it? You can't do it at Royal Rumble because we need that time for the actual Rumble. So,
right.
What do you do?
Otherwise, Royal Rumble would be 2 matches. It'd be the Iron Woman match and then the Royal Rumble match. Heck, at the rate Raw's going, maybe that's all they need. But yeah, so okay, so maybe it makes sense. This takes up an hour of the Roadblock pay-per-view that's coming up. Then you're gonna have Kevin Owens defending against Roman Reigns. Wake me up when that one's over. And you got Jericho versus Seth Rollins, which leads me, and speaking of Chris Jericho, your thoughts on this. Are we seeing the end of Jericho? Are they leading into them having a breakup? Could they actually do Jericho versus KO at Mania, with Jericho, maybe being the face and KO being the heel champion going into Mania? Do you see that, or is that something that you don't see?
That's a long play, because you would think that when the breakup, it's going to be sudden. So I think it's a hard play to wait that long. We might get it. Was it No Mercy after? I don't know with the brand split what they'll call it after the Rumble, but God, it's hard. KO is so dull as champion. I'm sorry, I could do without him. But on the other hand, you have his guy who's standing right next to him, probably the hottest he has ever been. If Jericho, if we're going to base it on merit, Jericho's been the champ time and time again, but he doesn't deserve it any more than he does right now. So let's go ahead and get this feud rolling and popping, and I don't know if it can wait till Mania though.
You don't think so, huh? I mean, they could. I mean, they could keep teasing the breakup, and then maybe something happens at the Rumble. I mean, we're right on the cusp of WrestleMania season, so they could draw it out if they if they really wanted to. Because I'm just trying to, I'm looking at things. You start to think of where they're gonna go WrestleMania wise, and right now, I'm not sure. Is Finn Balor gonna be back by then? Does he get back into the picture when he comes back? Seth Rollins has called out Triple H, so I'm willing to bet that. Well, we've been predicting Triple H coming back for like the last 3 pay-per-views, and it has not happened. But
they're stretching that one out to Mania.
Yeah, there you go. That's one they're stretching out. So maybe Triple H comes back and costs Seth Rollins, the Royal Rumble match. Maybe he throws him out of the ring, but then everybody's expecting that to happen with Brock and Goldberg. So. Which that's probably the one match we know we're going to get at WrestleMania, right? We're probably going to get Brock versus Goldberg 3. And then the rest. And you're going to get an Undertaker match because he's back, what did he say? Digging holes and taking souls. When he said that, I couldn't help but die laughing. I'm like, come on, man. Who's writing this stuff? But But so we know Undertaker is gonna have a match. With who though? With who? That's interesting.
Yeah.
So I know that's all speculation here, but Roadblock End of the Line is the next Raw pay-per-view, and looks like it's gonna be headlined by Charlotte and Sasha Banks in an Iron Woman match. How about Raw? How about Charlotte, your girl, Shane's girl, Courtney's girl? I'm a Bailey. I like Bailey. I'm a hugger. I like Bailey. I do like Charlotte though. Charlotte's good, man. She's really good. Man, she smacked the snot out of her daddy on Monday night. I was like, man. Look, I thought he was gonna give her a whooping or something. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, man, you shoot. If you look at your mama or your daddy the wrong way, you might be in trouble. And I know it's wrestling, so it's a storyline. But man, she smacked him into next week. It was like, what did the 5 fingers say to the side of the face? Slap! Like, man, she took him out, but. Raw was just all right to me, man. That was a highlight. I don't know, man. Hot Dog says in the chat room that they should start making some trades every 6 months to kind of keep things fresh. I actually kind of like that idea. Maybe not every 6 months, but it looks like maybe what they'll do is after Mania, they probably will shuffle some things around.
Well, I don't think so. I think that'll be too soon. Initially, I thought they probably do need to make trades, but the thing is, in wrestling, the storylines, really take around a year to actually develop and then for you to move on to something else. So I don't know. It kind of interrupts things if you're going to do a trade. I think it would have to be a special occasion, maybe once a year. You get one trade because the draft is right around the corner. You're gonna, I don't know. Unless they do an annual trade or something like that, they should open up the window once a year, maybe. Maybe every 12 months from the annual draft date, open up the window for a trade. Or something. You got to switch it up something, but you don't want to do it too much because I think you want to keep these guys away from each other to keep things fresh.
Right, for sure. Yeah, and you know what? One of the things too, and obviously there are going to be some trades of some sort happening because you see Daniel Bryan in particular. He often but will tweet out to Raw brand wrestlers like Cesaro. Cesaro was frustrated, about losing their tag team title opportunity. Daniel Bryan tweeted him like, this will never happen on SmackDown. You can come over here. Right. He did the same thing with Sami Zayn, so which those guys, like if a Sami Zayn, a Cesaro, if those guys were on SmackDown, they probably would be main event, potentially main event guys. Because here's the thing: once Ambrose and AJ Styles are through, who's AJ Styles? Who's his main challenger?
That's a good freaking question. I don't know.
Yeah. Who is it? It can't. You only can go James Ellsworth for so long before people be like, "Come on, man, this dude weighs like 147 pounds. Like, are we really to believe that this guy is an actual title contender?" So maybe some trades is what they need to make. Maybe it's the Undertaker, man. He said he's back, not just for WrestleMania. He's back full time. Maybe Taker is the guy for AJ Styles. You know what? AJ Styles, Taker at WrestleMania. What do you think?
I'm okay with that. Because who's left? The real debate is either AJ or John Cena. One of those two are the guys, as it appears now. So either way they go, that's fine. If you want to give him one more shot at glory, you want to dust Undertaker off one more time, okay, I guess.
Dust him off.
I don't know. I mean, I really have not been impressed with. He's working once a year. You have all year to get into ring shape and be ready to go. I just don't think he has it anymore. I haven't been impressed with his last couple WrestleMania appearances. You know, going back to the Shawn matches, going back to when we saw it in Atlanta live, where he had to lay down for, you know, it felt like 10 minutes at a time. It just, you know, he couldn't keep up to me is the way it felt. So, I mean, I'm all for nostalgia and everything like that. I can't see him holding the title, you know, and competing either once or twice, you know, a pay-per-view. I just don't see it. So,
well, supposedly he's back now. You know, like he made the appearance on Smackdown and said he was back. He wants to remove the stigma that he's only a WrestleMania guy now.
When have you seen him since he made that announcement?
I haven't. I think he's. But I think
he came back and disappeared again.
I think he's doing like. I know he's doing like live events and stuff like that. So
that's the trying to knock the cobwebs off.
Yeah. So yeah.
Put some oil in the joints.
Yeah, SmackDown Live is actually going to be in Detroit on December 20th. So, you know, who knows? I might have to jump in. So, some suggestions from the chat room. I think when we mentioned who would AJ Styles' next challenger be, Hot Dog said James Ellsworth. Johnny said Corbin. Johnny really likes Barry Corbin, man. You know, he's all right, man. I mean, he doesn't do a whole lot for me, but he's okay. Hot Dog says, hell, why not Kane? throw Kane in the mix, or so we'll see what happens, man. But
I got a name for you.
Okay,
I'm looking at the roster. Let's be realistic. There's only two contenders to me.
Miz.
The Miz is my guy. I was gonna say John Cena. Whenever he comes back, you got to throw him in the picture. Because of history and who else is there. Maybe Dolph Ziggler, been there, done that. But everybody else is mid-card talent and below. But the Miz is on fire as a heel. That's the only thing. You got heel versus heel.
Right.
You know, who cares though? Really, he's the hottest. He's the hottest heel on that brand outside of AJ Styles.
Yeah, I think you could go. I think Dolph Ziggler and AJ Styles will have some great matches. You know, obviously, you probably can get. I mean, that's the only guy I can see that logically it would make sense to throw him. You know, if you're gonna keep AJ heel, right, and you're gonna go the whole heel over. They do face versus face a lot, but you don't see a whole lot of heel versus heel unless it's like a triple threat or a fatal four-way where you got multiple guys in a match. They'll do a face versus face, like one-on-one match, but rarely do you see like a heel versus heel. But the Miz, as Johnny said in the chat room, would be dope. You know, to throw him in the world title picture. I was really surprised that they threw the Intercontinental title back on him. Well, not really surprised. I mean, he's been hot, as you said, but I thought maybe he would get elevated up into the world title picture. So maybe maybe it's Dolph Ziggler. Like I said, right now we're going into the Royal Rumble, so AJ Styles doesn't necessarily even have to defend his title at the Rumble. I guess in theory they probably would because he would have no reason to be in the Rumble if he's the champion. So
right, Ellsworth will probably get a shot there
at the Rumble.
Man, it's a throwaway. What else are you gonna do?
What?
who are you gonna have him face Dean again?
I'd rather see he might. Maybe they do Dean and Ellsworth in a triple threat.
Oh. There you go. That makes sense.
Yeah, maybe.
I think that's probably the play, more so than a one-on-one bout. But absolutely.
Yeah. I was gonna say, other than that, the only person I can see they could give a shot to would be Dolph. Maybe. But who knows?
They started and stopped him so many times. It's hard to get behind him.
Yeah, it's just, and that dude's uber talented too, man. So, who knows, man? Who knows what's going on there? But we're wrapping up, man. We want to thank you guys so much for tuning in to episode number 312 of the world famous Hit the Ropes radio show. Thanks everybody who joined us in the chat room, those that have joined us live and have been listening. We really appreciate you guys. The response has been really good, man. We've been back a couple of months now, and we got some of our loyal listeners and viewers, and we got some new ones too. And be sure to check out the website, hittheropesradio.com, for some great wrestling articles and opinions from the entire Hit the Ropes Radio crew. Darius, any words here before we sign off for the night?
Just continue. We thank you again. And if you could show us some love as you're listening, and subscribe, and also rate it on iTunes specifically. We need the love. We need the support there to boost basically boost the awareness of the show. So that's why we ask you to do it. So thank you again for tuning in, and those who do so each and every Wednesday. If you want to write, we're always looking for great writers on hittheropesradio.com to give your news, opinions, whatever you want to give out. And make sure you join us for each pay-per-view on youtube.com/hittheropesradio, as we'll be posting a show each and every pay-per-view.
Indeed. So yeah, we're so glad that you guys continue to support the Hit the Ropes Radio crew. Until next week, Demetrius and Darius are here signing off for this edition of Hit the Ropes Radio. Everybody have a great night. Peace.